Our next speaker is Cecily Cook. Cecily is Program Officer for the Asian Cultural Council, a foundation which supports cultural exchange in the visual and performing arts between countries of Asia and the United States. She served as director of the Refuge Arts Group Boston, has worked with the New England Foundation for the Arts, been a consultant on the Cambodian Artists Project, and a guest curator at the Vermont Folklife Center. I think you might be the only folklorist here at this meeting.
I do what I can.
She is a member of the American Folklore Society and the American Anthropological Association, and sits on the board of directors of the New York Folklore Society. She'll be speaking on negotiating exchanges, sharing place and meaning in a changing world. Cecily?
Thank you. In fact, Assad and I were talking on the way over and saying, I'm not exactly sure whether or not my talk, because since we received these titles months ago, I'm not exactly sure how much I follow this, but with any luck, you'll get something out of it anyway. And these are very, very tough acts to follow, so forgive me for not being anywhere near as interesting. The Asian Cultural Council is a hybrid organization. We make grants. We operate a nonprofit program that creates individualized programs for artists and scholars and specialists. And we connect people and their organizations via a 4,000-member alumni network built over our more than 50-year history. We do this in order to achieve understanding, appreciation, and respect between people living in Asia and the United States and people living throughout the countries of Asia. While the ACC does support cultural exchange that does not involve Muslim-majority countries, for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to focus on our exchange activities with Muslim-majority countries and on programs that enable collaboration and/or engagement between Muslim Asia and the United States. We believe that creating opportunities for individuals to engage in a significant way with another culture is critical to building respect and real understanding that will make for a better world. Founded in 1963 by a man who believed that the individual had the power to change the world and that the arts were the best possible means of enabling mutual understanding, ACC makes approximately 100 grants a year, totaling about $1.4 million. 3/4 of our grants are individual fellowships, both to Americans and to people in Asia, and all of the activities that we support involve international exchange. For the individuals who receive our grants, we provide programs for our grantees that are as unique as are the individuals pursuing them. One size does not fit all. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the who, how, and why. And these slides are just to keep you entertained, and they're just grantees throughout our history. Who? The ACC supports individuals working in the visual and performing arts, architecture, archaeology, arts administration, art historians, conservation, crafts, dance, music, museum studies, painting, sculpture, theater, video, and more. We support cultural exchange between Asia, which we inherited this geographical designation, which is Afghanistan through Japan, south to Indonesia, and the United States. We support individuals in the early stages of their careers, at mid-career, and those working at the senior level. Here are some of the examples of some of the grants that we've made in 2015. A 6-month fellowship to Roslisham Ismail, one of Malaysia's leading contemporary artists, to bring to New York his practice of creating participatory environments that expand into opportunities for dialogue and interaction. 2 fellowships to American curators, one at the Guggenheim and one independent, to participate in the 2016 Dhaka Art Summit. A grant to the Triangle Arts Association to enable Lahore-based artist Zoya Siddiqui to participate in a 3-week international workshop program in upstate New York, and a grant to an American musicologist to enable him to carry out a documentation project across Indonesia. There are three essential elements to our program: selection, programming, and alumni engagement. We find the people we support in a variety of ways, through the applications we receive online, through recommendations from alumni and other advisors, and sometimes through direct cultivation and recruitment. We interview every serious candidate that we are considering for support, and 95% of these interviews are conducted in person in the country where the candidate lives. When we meet with the applicants, we want to understand where they are in their careers, how they fit into their local arts ecosystems, and most critically, whether the timing is right for a fellowship. Does this person have the time, and are they prepared to be completely open to a new experience? Many of the mid-career professionals who make up our primary demographic are busy, and making the decision to take time away from their busy lives is a leap of faith. How? Once candidates are selected, we make individual fellowship grants ranging from 2 weeks to 1 year, supporting artists, scholars, and specialists undertaking research, study, and creative work. We support people by giving them logistical support and program support in order that they can use their time most effectively. We support process, exploration, and collaboration. We support the research that it takes to conceptualize a film, a book, exhibition, or production, but not the actual product itself. Our grants provide for international travel, living costs, health insurance, and visa support. For grantees coming to New York, we have leases on 10 furnished apartments in Manhattan, most of which are grouped together so that our grantees live in proximity and can socialize and support each other. Where it's appropriate, we arrange for artists to participate in residency programs in New York or elsewhere in the U.S., and we arrange for scholars to have affiliations with appropriate universities, such as NYU and other institutions. During their fellowships, our grantees meet regularly with the ACC staff of cultural specialists who advise them, listen to them, and assist them in making the most of their programs. And then after their fellowships are over, when our grantees return to their home countries, they become part of our network, a network that we activate to keep us current, to help us understand the fields and regions we serve, and which provides the linkages critical to our grantees' ability to carry out their work. In addition to this kind of signature individual fellowship, we also provide grant support for innovative platforms for engagement such as biennials, conferences and symposia, and regional dance, theater, and music festivals. The Penang Jazz Festival, Asian Contemporary Arts Week's field meetings, workshops held by Asia Art Archive, the Indonesian Dance Festival, the American Dance Festival, all are extraordinary opportunities for artists to present work, experiment together, and engage in the exchange of ideas. Why? However many digital advantages now touch our daily lives, no technology has replaced the power and impact of face-to-face communication and a lived experience in a culture outside of one's own. There is no more effective way of getting to know another artist or scholar than by sitting over cups of tea or coffee and talking. And there is no other way to really know and appreciate another culture than to spend time living in it. The connections, the professional relationships, and the friendships that are built through the lived experience of exchange are the catalysts for transformation, for dispelling misunderstanding, and for creating a foundation of lasting respect. This is why ACC supports cultural exchange in the way that we do. Understanding, insight, and appreciation take time and work. Our grantees and alumni are leaders in their fields and infinitely creative and forward-thinking. It's difficult to offer metrics, and I volunteer to be part of any working group that has to do with evaluation so that we can come up with metrics. It's difficult to offer metrics to show the impact of ACC's fellowships, but the data that we collect in the form of stories of personal transformation is absolutely compelling. A recurring theme in the stories we receive is the appreciation of the gift of time and how time and patience led them to a profound kind of understanding. American visual artist Sonia Dahl, who received a grant in 2012 to spend 6 months in Central Java, Indonesia, wrote to us that the most important thing that she learned in the early stages of her project was simply how to sit together with people and listen and observe. She told us that this practice of slow, patient, and feeling-based time enabled her observations and understanding of how Islam permeates every aspect of life there, and her experience of the depth of generosity and social support that comprises the Muslim faith, changing everything she thought she knew about their religion. Choreographer Wally Cardona, who has received continuous support since 2012 for an ongoing exploration of Asian classical dance techniques in order to create a new work in response to his experience in collaborating with these artists, wrote to us, "So much is there to be seen if one is given the time or if one gives oneself the time. To be in a different place, to be away from home and all of its attachments and means, provides a different kind of freedom. And to experience this freedom and know that it exists, even for a brief moment, can forever change a person's relationship to their practice, their form, their culture, and their community." The period of exploration and reflection afforded by the ACC's fellowships sets the stage for follow-up projects, exhibitions, and all manner of collaborations. Energized and inspired by the connections made during their time away from home, artists prioritize opportunities for continued connection and sustained relationships. Once the door has been opened, few have a desire to see it closed. Over the course of ACC's history, we have seen the substantial impact that cultural exchange has had on our grantees and their work, and how effective a mechanism it is for artists and scholars to form the genuine relationships across countries and continents that are capable of revolutionizing their work and fostering greater international understanding. We believe that even today, there is still no substitute for face-to-face connection. Thank you. And thank you to Shai Dole for advancing the slides.
Thank you, Cecily.